Germany only has 20,000 HE artillery rounds left in their arsenal. And what that really means is they pretty much have no artillery rounds left in their arsenal, so what the heck is going on? Now stick with me in this video because it's not only Germany who's having issues with artillery rounds, it's really all of NATO who's starting to run out of artillery rounds, and it might become an issue very fast. Okay, so first things first, if Ukraine has taught us anything, it's that artillery still is important for the battlefield or the combat space. There was this implication that we need to really start to advance artillery. We need to almost make it precision guided. And in some cases, yes, we do. There are precision guided artillery shells. But without a doubt, just the basics of artillery and the fundamentals of artillery, Ukraine has proven and Russia has proven it's still a necessity for the battlefield. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because there was this implication that, like, this war was going to be so advanced, we're not even going to be using tanks. Tanks are obsolete. We're not going to be using trenches. But you can see we are still using old school World War I basic fundamentals of warfare in the battle space. Now, here's the thing. Germany, to be fair, has been donating a lot of military pieces and equipment over to Ukraine. But the issue is they are not in compliance with NATO standards with how many artillery shells they need to sustain a high-intensity attack. Like, if they're on the defense, you need a certain amount of artillery shells by NATO compliance and standards. Now, the number I highlighted on the screen is 230,000 shells. And the next number I'll highlight is a 30-day intensive combat. And that's essentially, again, the NATO standard, or what NATO wants you to have just in case everyone needs to come together and NATO needs to defend NATO countries or do whatever they need to do. Again, the main thing is Germany only has 20,000 HE shells when you need 230,000 shells. Now, unfortunately, there might be a little speculation out there that Germany only has 20,000 HE shells and made that public so that Germany puts their own pressure on their own country to start producing and buying more artillery shells. I know it sounds absolutely dumb, but this is politics and this is how it works when it comes to militaries getting a higher defense budget. Now, like I had mentioned before, it's not only Germany who's having a stockpile issue with their HE shells, it's also really all of NATO. And NATO is really confusing because typically they will try to standardize everything. So just in case one NATO country works with another NATO country, there's no issues with having different types of rounds. And as far as artillery rounds, there really is no standardization when it comes to NATO. You only really see that with like the 5.56 and the 7.62 rounds, smaller munitions. Now, before everyone freaks out, I understand that the 155 is technically the NATO standard round when it comes to artillery. Now, why did I just say there really is not that much standardization? This is because there are different manufacturers who make the 155, and the issue is when you make rounds that big and it's not made by the same person, there are countries who still have to make slight adjustments or major adjustments to actually hit the target that's intended. So take it as you will. 155, yes, that is the NATO standard, but again, most countries agree there still is an issue when it comes to accuracy and using this round when there are a lot of different manufacturers who are making this round for NATO. And look, if you don't believe me, this article is back from June 13th, where companies are actually going to start coming together and figure out a way to manufacture and produce a round that is completely standardized and perfect for every single NATO country. Now, in this same article, I think it's important to note that more than a year of conflict in Ukraine has left national inventories badly depleted. Before that, many NATO countries had already run down their stockpiles as governments considered wars of attrition with big artillery battles a thing of the past. And like I said at the beginning of this video, this conflict and war has proven that we need artillery. Now, we don't know for sure how many artillery rounds Russia has, but I was also seeing when researching for this video that there are people who believe Russia did this on purpose. Go in on Ukraine and hopefully NATO gives up their entire stockpiles, and now Russia actually has way more munitions than all of NATO potentially combined. Maybe not the United States, but definitely on the European side of things. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Is this a bigger deal than not? Is anyone surprised? I'm not surprised because, again, all of these countries have been very public in showing their support for Ukraine. All these countries were giving away their munitions. So obviously, Germany having 20,000 HE rounds left, what did anyone expect? So yeah, that's sort of what's going on right now. It's not only Germany, it's really all of NATO. And in some instances, it might be the United States just a little bit. But the United States would never ever report that they don't have any munitions left. Like, I don't know why this is even being a public statement. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. My name is T-SPLY. Leave your opinions and comments down below, and we'll see you later.